Pisces, what is going on with you? Come on in, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. My name's Alan Hill from UnknownTruthTarot.com. Welcome back to another Pisces love reading. Today we are going to take a look at the status of the love connection between you and your romantic person of interest. So let's get started. Let's get one card for what is the mutual point of interest between Pisces and their romantic person of interest here in October 2025, please. Okay, what's going on with you, Pisces? Been a long time. What's going on with Pisces as it relates to their romantic person of interest and the connection between the two of them? Okay, not going to let me finish my sentence, and I'm fine with that. What do we got here? There's one hiding from me in here. Where'd you go? Okay, what is going on with your person, Pisces? What's going on with Pisces' romantic person of interest as it relates to Pisces and the connection between the two of them? October 2025. What do we got? All right. Well. The overall energy of this reading, Queen of Wands. Okay. This is either Leo or Aries energy. This is a bold, passionate, fiery, determined person who knows exactly what she wants. She typically doesn't take no for an answer. It's more than just knowing what she wants. This is also someone who knows what they deserve and what they're worthy of. I'm hoping this is your energy, but the way it's looking, it doesn't seem like it is. The negative piece of this, well, there's a couple of them. One negative side of this is sometimes this can be a drama queen kind of a person who knows what she wants and she doesn't give a damn about anybody else as long as she gets what she wants. It can be that. 9 times out of 10 in a reading for someone who's not a Leo or an Aries, this a lot of times will end up representing another person showing up in the connection. This is the fire element queen, the hot queen. This is a card about passion and desire and sexual energy. So it can represent someone that there is attraction to. I've got some disturbing stuff showing up here already. Yeah, that's probably what this is. I got 3 of Pentacles right behind that. This is Capricorn energy of supposed to be teamwork and collaboration and working together as equals to build something of value, building something together. This is usually like the foundations of building the 10 of Pentacles, like laying the groundwork for that, where we ultimately end up combining our lives together. The problem is in this deck, there's only one person on the card doing all the work all by themselves. So that usually means that one of you isn't showing up the same way the other one is in this connection. Could be that they're off working on something else in the background while you're doing all this we stuff by yourself. Yeah, that's what's going on. I got the 3 of Cups right behind that. This is Cancer energy. Now, this can be about being united and celebrating, in other words, being together. It can also represent reconciliation, as in getting back together. And it can also represent a third party is involved because we do have 3 cups of love in the picture here. So that's kind of what this is looking like for me so far. We'll come back to that if I need to, but that's the general idea of what this reading is going to talk to me about. This shared energy, this mutual point of interest affects both of you in some way. Doesn't always affect you both exactly the same way. Sometimes they do this or they say something and it makes you feel this way. Sometimes they do this and you feel the consequences of it, or even vice versa. Sometimes it's something external that's just affecting you both, but we have the world as that shared energy. This is the final card of the major arcana. This represents the ending of one cycle and at the same time the beginning of the next cycle. So let's clarify this and see what else we can find out here. Tell me more about the world, please. Why is that the shared energy affecting Pisces and their person of interest in October 2025? Notice how the cards are flipping up right side up, but they're not actually coming out and I have to go in and dig for them. That is usually a sign that someone is trying to keep something quiet or withhold information. Maybe they don't want something to come out and it's kind of like I have to go dig it out of them here. Underlying this energy of the world, this ending of one cycle, beginning of the next, I have the Ace of Swords. This is the sword of truth. It's the sword of clarity. It's the sword you would use to make a decision with. It's also the sword you would use to cut someone out of your life or cut something out of your life. Yeah, we definitely have some sort of a decision that needs to be made here. I don't know if this is representing the making of the decision or the truth of, that's going to be required to make the decision. I have Two of Swords next, so we're escalating here in this mental energy. The Two of Swords is Libra energy of a decision that needs to be made, only it hasn't been made yet for some reason. Like the thing that's popping out to me is like the word, like the root word, the Latin word that decision comes from, literally means to cut off, like to cut off the other options until there's one left. Well, here we've got two options. This lady is trying to make a decision between these two swords, but she can't see what she's doing because she's blindfolded. So that blindfold can sometimes represent, I don't have all of the information, I don't have all of the facts, all of the truth, and because of that, I can't make my decision. Sometimes that blindfold represents that someone is wearing blinders. In other words, there's something that they don't want to see. There's some truth they don't want to see, and avoiding it is preventing them from making a decision. Oh, what do we have? Yeah, we definitely got something that's not seen. I have the moon in the background. That's a Pisces energy. It can be fear, worry, and anxiety, usually based on uncertainty. Like when the moon's out and it's dark outside, I can't see the full path in front of me. I don't know if I'm going in the right direction. Did I make a wrong turn somewhere? So just that level of uncertainty can cause fear, worry, and anxiety. But the other meaning to the moon is it can represent something as being hidden in the dark. There's some secret being kept. I don't know if there's this idea here of like something is hidden and I don't have the facts to be able to make my decision, or if there's something I don't want to see about it. Let's see what we got here. That's what's underlying the world. When I clarify that, I get the King of Swords, Temperance, and the Knight of Cups. King of Swords is Aquarius, sometimes Gemini energy. This is a decision making energy as well. So I've got decision all over the place right here, but then uncertainty or even something being hidden. This is the decision maker that kind of throws their emotions out the window when they make their decisions. This is sometimes a cold, calculated type of decision maker. They're more interested in the truth, in the facts of the matter. What can I see right in front of me? What can I verify? What do I know to be true? Much less concerned with how anyone feels about this. Now, for a Pisces, especially being a water sign, being very intuitive, being in touch with your emotions, this type of a person can often feel like they're emotionally distant, emotionally disconnected, even sometimes cold and calculated. So we got someone is making a decision. Sometimes the King of Swords will make decisions that are in his own best interest too. I've got the Temperance in the center of this, and this is the Sagittarius Major Arcana card. This is sometimes a card of patience. It's also sometimes a card of like combining two things together to make something new. This is really like a recalibration kind of an energy. When I get this card, it's usually a sign that something is way out of whack and it needs recalibrated, readjusted, trying to like balance it back out. This can even represent getting back together, reconciliation, because in tarot, water represents love, and here the love has been separated into two different cups, and the angel is like recombining that love back into one. So there could be this idea here of like there's some truth and facts in a decision that's been made, maybe to sever something, but then there's still uncertainty, there's still information you don't quite have yet. Maybe there's a decision that you're supposed to be making here. If this is about recalibration, this would not necessarily be recalibrating the relationship and putting it back together as much as it would be like recalibrating yourself here after the ending and then starting some new beginning. The final clarifier is the Knight of Cups, and this is actions toward love and emotions. This is moving forward with romantic offers, romantic gestures, trying to advance a new cup of love in some way. Okay, not uncommon that at the early stage of the reading, I don't fully understand exactly what it's saying. I feel like I got a pretty decent handle on it already based on this overall energy and the shared energy that's affecting you. But I'm still going to come back to this as I go through your energy, Pisces, because then I'll be able to see how that relates to you, how it applies to you. I'm going to come back to it again when I go through your person's energy, because then I can see how it applies to them. For you, Pisces, the first card is the most important. You got the Seven of Swords. Central to your energy is the Lovers. And your final card is the Six of Cups. Seven of Swords is Aquarius energy. This is usually lying, cheating, deception, someone sneaking around behind your back trying to get away with something that they shouldn't be trying to get away with. Realize this is showing up in your energy doesn't necessarily mean that you're the one that's doing the lying and the sneaking around. A lot of times, this whole first card in the first column of clarifiers, even though it's in your energy, usually ends up being something from this person that's showing up in your energy because whatever they're doing here is affecting you so strongly. So let me clarify this and see what else I can find out. What's going on with the Seven of Swords? Why is that the first card in Pisces energy connection for October 2025? Okay. What do we got here? Oh, heck, here. Underlying this Seven of Swords energy, Eight of Wands, Sagittarius energy. This is the second fastest moving energy in the deck. This can be rapid, back and forth, passionate communications happening, usually through the airwaves, not in person. This can represent travel over distance. This can represent rapid forward movement or rapid progress on something that there's a lot of passion and desire for. This can also represent something coming out of left field where a lot is happening all at once. It's like too much, too fast, can't process it all right now. This is usually like an overwhelmed kind of a feeling, which would make a lot of sense if you're finding out that someone is being deceptive with you. I have the Knight of Pentacles right behind that. Very, very conflicted energy here. The second fastest energy in the deck, slowest Knight in the deck. This is molasses. This is that slow drip. Like, progress is happening so slow on something that I can't really see any movement. It doesn't feel like anything's actually progressing here. This can also represent a person who knows what they're supposed to do but doesn't do it, or someone who knows what they're not supposed to do and does it anyway. For example, he's got the Ace of Pentacles in his hand, the seed of abundance, but the fields in the background are completely empty because he hasn't planted the seed. He knows he has it, he knows he's supposed to, and he just hasn't yet. Likewise, you could say the opposite of that. He knows he's not supposed to just sit here on his butt and do nothing, but that's exactly what he's doing. So we got something going on here. Like, I don't know if this is them like rapidly progressing in passion, desire end of things, communicating with somebody even though they know they're not supposed to, or if you're feeling really overwhelmed and wanting progress to happen a lot faster than what you're seeing it. I've got the Three of Wands right behind that, Aries energy of essentially waiting. This is about the stage before this. The Two of Wands is that decision point of which path is going to lead me to the life that I really want. Which path do I have to leave behind? Well, in this stage, that decision's already been made. The path has been chosen. The path has been gone down. Steps are being taken. Actions are being taken. And there's this positive expectancy that the thing that I want's going to happen. It just hasn't happened yet. And I'm still kind of like waiting on that to materialize, which would make a lot of sense with this really slow, frustrating movement. Like, this would be enough to make you want to pull your hair out. When I clarify Seven of Swords, I get the Ten of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, Four of Wands, King of Cups. Ten of Pentacles. This is Virgo energy. This is most people's goal in the physical reality. This can be maximum stability, abundance, prosperity. This could be like combining lives together. I get this card a lot for people when they're either married or living together or going down that kind of a path where we're trying to build our lives together. Didn't I see, Three of Pentacles here right behind this Queen of Wands in the overall energy? That, like I said, is laying the foundations to build the Ten of Pentacles. So this is looking to me like this was a time period when you guys were actively together, building a life together, and something started going on that shouldn't have been. I got Knight of Swords next, which is the fastest moving knight in the deck. So I've got a lot of speed right here, a lot of something happening really fast as it's tied to this sneaky, deceptive behavior. This is a lot of times someone who rushes off and they take this really decisive action on something, only they haven't really thought it through first. It can be very like spur of the moment, impulsive kind of an energy, sometimes reckless energy. Oh man, oh man. Four of Wands. This is another card that usually indicates people are together. This is like a celebration of the home and family. Fours represent stability. So this would be stability of the home, stability of the family, stability of the connection between the two of you. It's also the card that follows that Three of Wands that we just saw here, which the 2, 3, and 4 of Wands are the story of manifesting. Like first you choose what you want, second you start taking steps and actions to get it, and then you have to wait for it to show up, and then this 4 of Wands is the stage where it actually shows up. Damn, I didn't go deep enough, because right behind this 3 of Wands, this thing that I'm waiting for, is the 3 of Cups. So this could be that you're waiting and not seeing any progress on the idea of reconciliation and getting back together. This could also indicate that there's a third party involved in the background. Like this would be, like I said, this would be the stage where the thing that I want manifests. It shows up in the physical reality, is stable, and I can do something with it. But I've got 2 cards here that typically indicate people are together and stable and living together. And in the middle of it is this probably impulsive, reckless decision making happening. Again, clarifying 7 of Swords, which is lying, cheating, and deception. And I got King of Cups next. This is Pisces or Scorpio energy. This is probably the person that you have a lot of love and emotions for. And this would be someone who also has a lot of emotions going on right now. The problem is they don't wear their heart on their sleeve. You can see the waves around his feet are all rough and choppy, but his face is cool, calm, and collected. You can't tell anything's going on here. So this could be a person who loves you and you have no idea because they don't really express it. This could be a person who's going through emotional turmoil and you don't really have any idea because they don't express it. I mean, which would make sense if I cheated on you and I did some stupid thing that I didn't think through all the way first while we're together and living together and building a life together. And now I need to keep that mum's the word, and I need to keep my composure so you can't figure it out. Now, also a lot of times when I get this, it will represent that kind of how you feel about them, like viewing them as the other half of the love equation for you. In a case like this, though, that would almost be like I'm giving this person credit that they're not really worthy of. Central for your energy in this connection, Pisces, is the Lovers. This is Gemini's major arcana card. Now, this can be, from your point of view, what feels like a very powerful love connection. This card, a long time ago, before it was called the Lovers, it used to be called the Choice. This represents the interconnectedness between people and how they can't make decisions that don't affect you and vice versa. It can also represent a choice about this relationship, or even a choice between 2 different relationships. I've got deceptive behavior, I've got this hot queen, I've got somebody off doing something on their own, and 3 cups of love here. Son of a bitch, there's the King of Cups right underneath that, which we just saw here. And then the 10 of Swords, swift, painful ending. Sometimes it's an ending you don't see coming. Sometimes it's an ending in betrayal. I'm going to clarify this Lovers card and see what this choice is about. Please tell me more about the Lovers. Why is that here? Central for Pisces energy. Thank you. Well, on the bottom of the deck, underlying this Lover's energy, Ace of Swords. Again, sword of truth, the sword of clarity, the sword you make decisions with, the sword you would use to cut someone out of your life. So we're clarifying a card that used to be called the choice, and this would be the sword you would make that severing with to make the choice. Yeah, two of swords again, right behind it. And you've seen me shuffle this at least twice now. Decision that needs to be made, but has not been made yet for some reason. King of Pentacles. There's another indicator that you guys were like physically together. This is Virgo or Taurus energy. This is a lot of times like husband type energy. It doesn't necessarily mean like actual legally married husband. The King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles work together as equals to build the Ten of Pentacles, the combined together life. So this could be someone that you lived with, someone that you were married to, someone you were deeply committed with. And it looks like they have some sort of a choice. Two of Wands, again, is that fork in the road. It's a crossroads in the relationship. It's a decision point. Which path leads me to the world that I want? And which path do I have to leave behind in order to get there? So I've got this King of Pentacles figure with a 2 in front and a 2 behind. So there's decision all around that person. And I'm clarifying the Lovers, which, like I said, used to be called the choice. So it looks like they have some sort of a choice here. When I clarify the Lovers, I get King of Wands, the Tower, 5 of Wands, and the Empress. I have to get ahead of myself as much as I don't want to. King of Wands is out here in your person's energy. 5 of Wands is also out here in your person's energy. And I just got both of those cards clarifying this choice about your connection, choice between more than one person. King of Wands is Leo energy, sometimes Sagittarius energy. This is a bold, passionate, fiery, determined person that knows exactly what he wants, and he ain't going to take no for an answer. This is the kind of dude that's going to find a way to get what he wants, or he's going to make a way to get what he wants. Very driven, motivated, ambitious type of a person. It's also the pinnacle of the wand suit, and the wand is about passion and desire and sexual energy. The wand is actually the phallic symbol of the deck, and this is the top level of that suit. So it's not just someone who's driven and motivated and determined. It's someone who's driven and motivated and determined by the wand. Which leads us to the Tower. This is the collapse of some important structure in your life. This is a foundation rocking event. It's a game changer. The moment the Tower collapses, nothing is the same after that. This a lot of times will represent the collapse of the relationship, or even the collapse of the belief system that you've been operating from, where I believed that this is the one for me here. I believed that we have this powerful connection. I believe we're combining lives together. And now something has happened to shatter that. And what's right beside that energy is this decisive action taker, usually someone who doesn't think things through before they do it. So once they do it, it's too late now, because that brings the Tower down. The Tower is tied directly to this being driven by the passion, desire end of things. Next, I get the 5 of Wands, which is Leo energy. 5s are conflict. Wands, like I said, represent desire. So this is a conflict in the desires. In other words, an internal conflict where a piece of me wants this and another piece of me wants that and another piece of me wants this. And it's like pulling myself in different directions. I'm playing tug of war inside myself in terms of what I actually want. Really conflicted, torn kind of an energy. That's tied to the Tower. That's also tied to this 4 of Wands, this stability of home and family and connection. Oh man. Then I get the Empress. This is the mother of the tarot deck. She's always pregnant. She's always giving birth to something. In a relationship reading, she represents the birth of something new, as in the birth of a new connection. Sometimes that can be the rebirth of a connection that has kind of come to an end, but, well, clearly it's come to an end. We've got the Tower. This King of Cups is sitting right beside the birthing something new. There's this internal conflict about what do I want here, a choice probably between lovers. I've got this other fiery, hot queen showing up over here. This is not looking good. This is looking like there's a third party involved that this person has brought in. Final card for you, Pisces, Six of Cups. This is Scorpio energy of the past. It's thinking about the past, reminiscing about the past, the way things used to be in the good old days. This can represent something from the past coming back up again, or something that's already happened once happening again. It can even represent a person from the past. Let me clarify that. What's going on with this Six of Cups? Why is that the final card for Pisces energy, please? Make sure nothing else flipped in here. That felt weird. Okay. Underlying this past energy, Three of Wands again. Aries energy of waiting. Like, I know what I want. I'm expecting what I want to happen. It just hasn't happened yet, and I'm kind of waiting on it. So I don't know if you're waiting on them to come back. Yeah, that's probably it. I got that Knight of Pentacles again. Very slow movement. Seems like no progress is happening. And then the Lovers. Damn, this is a person who knows what they're supposed to do and doesn't do it, or knows what they're not supposed to do and does it anyway. And now we get this choice between lovers here. Wait, maybe you're waiting on this love connection to happen, but the movement that you're seeing is it doesn't look like it's moving here. When I clarify this past energy, I get the Star, the Nine of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles. The Star is Aquarius major arcana energy. This is a card of hope and healing. Usually that would represent having hope that we can heal this connection, hope that we can get it back, bring it back from the past, back into the current. It's also the card that comes right after the Tower, so you don't make it here until you go through the Tower. We've got the Tower out here tied to an impulsive decision, impulsive action. Also tied to King of Wands, which, like I said, is in your person's energy. Man, oh man. Then I got Nine of Pentacles, which is a step backwards from this Ten of Pentacles. It's also Virgo energy, but this is single energy. Here we've combined our lives together. We're building a life together, and this is about being physically single, physically independent. I don't need you to physically or financially take care of me. I can do that all on my own. Doesn't necessarily mean someone wants to be single. Hell, it doesn't even necessarily mean someone is single. Now, in your case, it looks like they took an action that collapsed everything and probably landed you in this single energy. A lot of times when I get this card, it can represent a person who's not actually single, but they're presenting themselves in the physical world as if they are when they're not. Final clarifier for that Six of Cups is the Five of Pentacles. This is Taurus energy. I've seen quite a few fives here, it seems like. This is abandonment. This is being cast aside, being left out in the cold, being discarded, walked away from. This is a breakup kind of an energy. It's also half of the Ten of Pentacles. So this is looking like everything came apart here. And there's still this internal conflict, probably for you, about whether it's actually over or whether it can be rebirthed or not. Because one minute we have stability, and then the next minute there's everything's being tossed away. That is your energy in this connection, Pisces. Scoot this over a bit and get some more room, and we'll take a look at your person's energy. For them, the first card is the most important. They get the Eight of Cups. Central to their energy, Five of Wands. Final card for your person is the King of Wands. Eight of Cups is Pisces energy. This is emotionally detaching, probably physically detaching and walking away. A lot of times when this is the first card in your person's energy, this represents that they think the grass might be greener on the other side of the fence, and I got to go find out if it is or not. A lot of times they will try to come back if it doesn't pan out the way they think it's going to. But I've got this fire element queen. I've got them probably off working on something by themselves while you're off doing this stability of the home and family and combined together life thing all by yourself. I got that third cup of love in the background here. Let's take a look at this Eight of Cups, please. Tell me more about Eight of Cups. When is that here? The first card in Pisces person's energy. Oh my. Underlying that Eight of Cups energy Ace of Swords again, the sword of truth, the sword of clarity, the sword you make decisions with, the sword you cut something or someone out of your life with, detaching and walking away. Severing something to get to the Sun, which is the Leo Major Arcana card. This is the happiest card in the deck. It's happiness, joy, bliss, harmony. Like, really hard to get a better card than that when that's what it's talking about. The other thing that it could be talking about is this is the card that comes immediately after the moon in the sequence of the cards. We did see the moon at some point, I think right at the very beginning, when I clarified the world, the ending of a cycle, beginning of a new cycle. When the moon's out and it's dark and you can't see and something's hidden from you, the next step is the sun comes up and now it's not dark anymore. And now that thing that was hiding in the dark, it's not hiding anymore. I can see it. The light gets shined on it. It gets exposed. Maybe the truth comes out. Yeah, son of a bitch, there's the moon right behind it. Something hidden. Something hidden, probably related to their happiness or why they're cutting things off to get to their happiness here. When I clarified this Eight of Cups, I get the Two of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, Five of Swords. Man. Two of Swords, again, is Libra energy of a decision that needs to be made, only it hasn't been made for some reason. Now, they're walking away. They're detaching and walking away. I don't know if this means at the early stage of whatever was going on, they had a choice to make between you and this other person. They had a choice to make between you and another person. Maybe it's even someone from their past. It doesn't necessarily mean it's someone that they used to be with romantically, although it can mean that. This can just mean that it's someone that's not brand new, someone they have some level of history with. But this would indicate that they're not making the decision at this point in time. They have a wife, is what it looks like. Queen of Pentacles. Now, that's probably you. I did see King of Pentacles in the underlying energy on your side a couple of times. I got that 10 of Pentacles, the King and the Queen work together to make that, the combined together life. I don't know if they're just not choosing because they have you here. Although, in that same row, I got the impulsive decision maker who just rushes off and does something that's probably very bad, because I got the Tower with that. And then this idea of being single, whether I actually am or not, remains to be seen. And now I've got, see, it's that is really feeling like I have you, but then I also have her. And I don't have to choose between the two of you until I'm ready to actually walk away. I've got Five of Swords with that, tied directly to what's probably your energy here. This is betrayal. This is a big fight. This can be a person who has this winning at all costs mentality. Like, I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to get what makes me happy. And I don't really care what happens to you as long as I get what I want. If you have to get hurt for me to get what I want, well, tough for you, you're going to get hurt. That can be a betrayal, but no matter what this is, at its core, this is a mentally and psychologically painful situation or event happening. I would imagine this is a betrayal. Even in this row, I've got the Four of Wands, where we have this stable home life, stable family life, stable connection. But then I've got Five of Wands, Five of Pentacles, and now Five of Swords. Conflict. Like internal conflict, probably betrayal, and then casting you aside. See, like a lot of times this will run chronologically, where like this has already happened, and the closer I get to the end of your energy is like more like right now, current. And here we're at the beginning of this. So at this early stage, it lines right up with the lying and the deception and the betrayal. And I have two people and I'm not making a choice between them, but I have emotionally detached. And even when I look at the shared energy, when we're looking at the ending of one cycle, probably with you, and the beginning of the next cycle, probably with this person, I've got this emotionally detached decision maker here. Something needing recalibrated, or even them trying to blend themselves together with some new person because they're taking actions toward romance and love and moving forward in that. Central for their energy, I got the Five of Wands, which is Leo energy. Like I said, this is an internal conflict happening. I've already got that over here in your energy, tied to the Tower, tied to the abandonment, tied to this idea of stable home and family, tied to the idea of birthing something new. Let's clarify this Five of Wands, please. Why is that the central energy for Pisces person of interest here in October? Thanks. Come here. Underline this Five of Wands energy. The Lovers. That's central to your energy here. Like I said, this can be seen as a powerful love connection, at least from one of your points of view. But this is also a choice about this connection with you, a choice between two different people, and they're conflicted about it, which is why they're waiting. Three of Wands. Not making my decision yet. I'm emotionally detached, and I'm still doing stuff with this other person, and I'm just waiting, and there's that slow molasses drip again. Also, person who knows what they're not supposed to do and is doing it any damn way. When I clarify this Five of Wands internal conflict, I get the Two of Pentacles, the Eight of Wands, Knight of Wands. Two of Pentacles. This is a decision. Twos are choices. It's sitting right next to the choice, the decision that I'm supposed to be making, but I'm not making. This would be a choice between these two physical things, and I can't have both of them. I have to pick this one or that one. Do I or don't I? Do I take her or do I take you? And it's like this back and forth, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Can't quite make up my mind because I'm torn in terms of my desires. There's more than one piece of him pulling in different directions. Sitting right beside that Two of Swords, like decision all over the place. Chief decision maker. I've seen Ace of Swords, the sword you make decisions with, at least twice. The other meaning to the Two of Pentacles is it can represent juggling, as in juggling two people. Then I get the Eight of Wands. Again, this is the second fastest energy in the deck. Very fast forward movement or progress on something there's passion and desire for. This can represent travel over distances. This can represent passionate communications going back and forth through the airwaves. Can also just represent so much happening so fast that it's too much to process and it gets overwhelming. Next, I get the Knight of Wands, which is the second fastest knight in the deck. So I got a lot of speed here. I got a lot of speed here. Where I keep seeing the slow drip and this waiting energy that seems really frustrating is always in the underlying below the surface energy. So that's stuff that's not actually out in the open that you can see. Knight of Wands is someone who rushes forward and takes this passionate action on something they have a lot of passion and desire for. A lot of times this gets referred to as the player of the tarot deck because it can be that person who's running back and forth between two different people, juggling two different people. I've got a decision I need to make and I'm not making it. I've got you at home and then betrayal tied to that. Torn between these different things that I want. This can be that person who tells you everything you want to hear in order to get what they want, but then they rush off somewhere else and tell that person everything they want to hear to get what they want, and they're bebopping back and forth between the two. This can also be a person who starts out really gung-ho and super driven and motivated, and they say all the right things and they take all the right actions, and then suddenly it's an about face and they're going the whole opposite direction. That idea of a player is tied directly to the Five of Swords, betrayal. It's in the column with a person who is internally conflicted, who can't make up their mind, who has these two things to choose from and they don't know which one they want. And they're probably playing both sides of the fence. Final card in your person's energy, Pisces, King of Wands. We've already seen that here in your energy tied to the Lovers. This is that bold, passionate, fiery, determined person who knows what he wants. He's not going to take no for an answer. It's the pinnacle of the wand suit. So it's not just driven, motivated. It's passion, desire, sexual energy motivated. What's going on with that King of Wands, please? Tell me more about that. Underlying that King of Wands, Ace of Swords again. The sword of truth, the sword of clarity, the sword you make decisions with, the sword you cut someone or something out of your life with. King of Pentacles, there's a severing to King of Pentacles. Husband energy. Now I've got husband and wife energy over here. The together part, the building a life together part, is on your side, not on their side. I would imagine the two of you were actively together, if not married or living together, like fully committed and going down that path until something else happened. And looks like they have made the decision against this King of Pentacles piece. Yeah, they have a choice to make. Choice about what do they want their life to be like. Notice this choice is a wand choice. It's a passion, desire choice. What do I want? When I clarify this King of Wands, I get the Page of Cups, Death, Six of Swords. The Page of Cups is news and messages and communications about love and emotions. This can be expressing feelings. This could be flirty behavior. This could be communicating all lovey-dovey with someone else. I do see juggling right here. A decision they need to make that they aren't making. Like, the correct way to do this is, if I'm not happy with being with you, I should break up with you and then go find the new person. And what this person has done instead is emotionally detach, find the new person, and juggle both of you until such a time that I decide, okay, this is what I'm going to go do now. This is kind of a deceptive kind of an energy sometimes too. The fish in the cup can represent sleight of hand. In other words, I don't want you to look me in the eyes, because then you'll be able to feel what's really going on with me. Instead, I'm distracting you and look over here at this fish in the cup, so you can't really see what I'm up to, which is juggling two people. Next, I have Death, which is the Scorpio Major Arcana card. This is an ending to something. This is something dying. And there's some sort of a painful transition period after that ending, a painful transformation period after that ending, but this is something ending. Looks like it ended really, really abruptly, really fast. Probably a lot happening all at once, and it's overwhelming. So it's like they know what they want. They're communicating, probably being flirty with somebody. They're probably doing a hell of a lot more than just being flirty the way it looks. But then we get Six of Swords. So the card that comes after this, Five of Swords. In the Six of Swords, this is Aquarius energy. It's about moving forward into calmer waters. It's about leaving the rough, choppy waters of the past behind and moving away from something painful. It also implies that because we're at the six, this painful thing has already occurred and it can't be changed now. There's betrayal and player, and them leaving something behind and moving forward. Man, oh man, oh man. This is very much looking like this person had somebody else, kept that hidden for a while, probably snuck around behind your back. This looks like there is an element here of you being conflicted about whether or not they've actually birthed a new connection, or whether or not you can rebirth this connection. Is it really over with the Tower being here? This doesn't look like anything is going to happen, which is why we keep seeing that Knight of Pentacles over and over again, that slow drip where it looks like nothing's moving, because it's not moving in the direction that you want it to, the way that you want it to. Both of their final cards are moving forward into the future, away from your energy, toward this stuff that they're driven and motivated for. Even this King of Wands, that's their last card, is the counterpart to this overall energy, the hot queen here. I think this person has been off working on that by themselves while you've been working on the home life by yourself. There's the third cup again. So I don't see any way around it that this person has someone else. With death being here, I don't see any way that this gets put back together. This recalibration doesn't seem to be a recalibration of the connection. It's probably because of their cold, detached decision making, kind of ruthlessness, this idea of moving forward romantically some other direction. This is probably leaving you in a spot where you need to recalibrate yourself. I still have like this one spot here in your energy that's got a void in it. The very last spot. There's the feelings you have for them, and this idea of either birthing something new or rebirthing the connection with them. But then there's a hole in the information, meaning like you're not seeing anything happen, and the only thing touching that hole is abandonment and breakup.